everyone, it's Jason, and welcome to an unboxing for Flamecraft. This is a dragon shop collecting type game. I'm not really sure what it's classified as. You're trying to collect different resources, resource management game, utilizing these two dragons and the various shops. It has some wonderful artwork on it. 1 to 5 players, roughly 60 minutes. Of course, that's always once you know how to play the game, and ages 10 plus. Yeah, so this just came out, so we're gonna go ahead and do an unboxing and show you everything that's in here. So this is actually a very good for the instruction manual. I like big ones like this. This is nice. I mean, you're at this big giant box. Why not have an instruction manual of that size? If that's the whole point of you having a big box, is because you need that much for all your game. Have an instruction book that's going to be that size. So you're going to show off all different things. Where you get player tokens, reputation markers, town mat, bunch of tons of different cards, different tokens. All that type of fun stuff. Now, I do have the Deluxe edition, so I will point that out. So, and I have a Kickstarter version. So the Kickstarter stuff I will show off at the end. I'll make sure I mention when that is specifically Kickstarter stuff. But like some of the tokens and the coins and stuff, I have upgraded versions. So you're gonna get like regular, like just little chips for these. I have an upgraded version. I have 3D printed ones. So they're a little bit nicer. So just that way, if like your what you're seeing in here isn't gonna be exactly what I have. The cards will all be the same. Just I have some component upgrades. So basically, what you do is set your board up more or less like this. You have this big giant board set up with this playmat, and we'll show that off in a moment. And you're gonna set up these different shops around town. Each one's gonna have a starter set. This is the starter board, they're all going to be the same every time, with starter dragons. Then you set up like a town, and it really nicely tells you how to start it up. So like 1 matches 1, what to place in each thing. So place your, roll out your mat, put your starters out, put your dragons down to match their icons. Put all your goods, so have all your different tokens set up. 3 is your shop deck. Make 1 pile for each of the 6 different icons, and 7th pile for all the others. Then flip the pile face down, shuffle them. I'm not going to explain all that. So that's number 3, which is going to be way over here. So your shop over there. We have special artisan dragons. So if you're playing with different emotes of players, you're just going to change the emote of cards in there. Shuffle the remaining and place them next to the fountains. That's number 4. So those are different ones you're going to should be the top 5 cards. These are what dragons you're going to pick up throughout the game. You're going to add to the different shops to gain you various extra resources. 5 are your fancy dragons. So these are more dragons like your artisanal dragons, or your artisan dragons, except they're like upgraded or better versions. That's why they're fancy. Your 6 are your enhancements. So purple or gold enhancements. So we recommend purple for the first couple of games. So it gives you some different options of stuff to play as. And you're going to set them up in the part here. And those are basically things you then put on your shop. You're going to put on your shops to basically increase what they can do. So you're going to take your regular shop, it's going to produce resources. You can add extra dragons or enhancements to make each shop produce more things. And then player setup. So you're going to take your token, your reputation color, and a bunch of different stuff. Each player is dealt 3 artisanal dragons. Each player 2 fancy dragons. They choose one to keep, they discard the other. So you're going to kind of start with something. And there's also companion and solo modes. So if you're playing, different types of games, you can do all that as well. Yeah, so it's a pretty good setup. It tells you how to do it. Your overview, we're going to look at this card here. This is the only downside about having such a big big book, is me trying to show it all off. Your goal is to become the most storied and successful Flamekeeper in town, grow your reputation, hearts, by visiting shops to place artisanal dragons, cast enchantments, and satisfying goals of your secret fancy dragons. Players take turn clockwise order, start the first player to choose a setup. Each turn you must move to a new shop to decide whether to gather goods or cast an enchantment there. So that's basically your turns. You're going to move to a new shop, you either gather some goods or you cast enchantments. So then there's a couple different icons on there. So the little icons are going to just show what they can do. Cost spending resources to cast enchantments, your rewards for casting them. So you're gonna go gather a bunch, and then you can spend leaf, diamonds, and meats to cast the smelting pot. And you're gonna gain 6 reputation for that. And then they have shops, just show different icons, and the little symbols just show what type of dragons can go in there. So taking your turn, you must either gather enchantments or gather goods or enchant. It says at the end of your turn you must check whether to expand the town and then discard down to your dragon and goods limit and then refresh. So visiting a shop is fairly easy. So it says when this one goes, it says in order to move to a shop, at the start of your turn, choose a shop anywhere in town. Move your player token to the shop. You must choose a different shop than you visited last turn. In order to move to a shop that other players are visiting, you must give them each 1 good of your choice or 1 coin from your personal supply. If you don't have enough, you must give each. You must choose a different shop. So that's one thing. So there's a couple different shops. If you like, I really need that goods, or I really need the abilities or whatever on that shop, you have to decide whether it's worth giving up some of your goods to other players, or if you want to just go to one that's empty. Now you can always keep going to ones that are empty and just keep getting the bonuses, but you might be missing out on something you really need. Alright, so gathering goods is pretty simple. You have the option then to gather goods, getting goods, coins, dragons from the shop. From each artisan dragon and enchantment there. Optional, you can place a dragon. You can place one of your dragons to add some new stuff. You can fire up a dragon or use the shop ability. So gathering goods is fairly simple, and it explains it right here. So if you land on here, you get 1 for each different symbol listed on one of the cards. So a bread, second bread, third bread, and 1 meat. Getting 4 different tokens there. Fairly simple. If it has different symbols, you can gain different other stuff. Yeah, so take any goods, coins you need from the supply. So that's very simple there. You just look at the symbols, match what they are, and you get them. So when this started off, it was just this bread and this 1 dragon, which is a starter one. So somebody added the red meat dragon, and they added the enchantment up there. So adding that stuff gives you more and more resources. So you start off, you might only get 2 resources, but this time you're going to get 4. Alright, then you can place a dragon. So once you gather goods, you may place 1 artisan dragon from your hand to an empty slot. In order to place a dragon, the icon in the upper corner must match 1 of the icons on the empty slot. So here it's showing a diamond, a potion, in gray. So you have to have either diamond or a potion dragon. And as a reward, you get what is in the last slot. So they ended up getting an artisanal or a new fancy dragon out of it. There can be various different rewards for that. Earning rewards, gain reputation, fancy dragon, artisanal dragon, or gain coin. And then you can affiliate shops. It says at any point during your turn you place an artisanal dragon in the last empty spot, you must draw a new shop from the deck without looking at it. Place it face down in any town slot. So once the thing's full, you're going to start a new store. So there's one advantage of filling up stores. So you can keep adding more locations, get different resources, and keep adding more things. Our third option we can do is fire up a dragon. So each artisan dragon, I keep saying artisanal, each artisan dragon has a fire up ability, the fire icon. All dragons have the same icon, have the same ability. So all diamonds have the same, all meat have the same, all bread dragons have the same. So when you gather goods from a shop, you use any one of the abilities. This may be a dragon you placed or a dragon that was already there. And then you can also use the shop ability. So some shops have abilities such as pay 2 bread to draw 2 of the park dragons. So you get some different options there. And then giving gifts. Some other abilities allow you to give gifts. Gift goods, coins, or cards to other players to earn representation points. So it says, this one says, James uses hedges and henges shop ability of gift 3 goods of the same type for 2 reputation or 1 coin each. He decides to gift 1 medal to Violet and 2 medal to Oliver, and he chooses 4 hearts and 1 coin as his reward. So yeah, he gave 3, he didn't get 4 things, so there we go. Alternatively, if you don't want to increase or get any of the other stuff for doing that, you can also enchant a shop. So you can cast an enchantment, choose an enchantment card from the face-up row that matches the shop's icon. Pay its cost, and you can fire up all dragons. So this one here is showing they're going to have to pay 3 bread, and they have 2 diamond. So now, alternatively, you may spend coins in place of any goods. So you're going to spend 1 coin instead of 1 diamond. Once you pay the rewards, you slide it on there. Now this is going to increase that for an extra leaf or plant every time. So he pays 1 diamond, 1 gold, 3 bread, and takes that. This earns him 4 hearts and 1 dragon from the park. Then you get to fire up all dragons. So the other way is you have the option when you're gathering goods, you get all the goods, you can place dragons, and you can fire up 1 dragon. By enchanting, instead of gaining a bunch of goods, you get to fire up all dragons though. So if there's only 1 dragon, it's not as good of an ability, but if there was 3 dragons there, you get 3 extra abilities, so it could be very rewarding. So like this one, they get to fire it, so they get give a good to another player to gain 2 hearts, and then they gain that. The thing is, though, if you fire them up, you have. So after you cast up, you may use the fire ability of each dragon in any order. Fire up a dragon lets you place a new dragon, you may also fire up that dragon. So it says you are not forced to use all the abilities or any of them. So like, you don't have to use this one if you don't want to spend that. And there's some clarifications. There's an enchantment limit. You have no more than 3 enchantments. So you can't keep stacking over and over. You may not use coin as a cost to pay the cost of this enchantment. So some do restrict them. There's also variable awards. So like this one's going to show can be paid multiple times. So to put Joe Forgeman in, you can just pay a bread and meat, and then you get no reputation. But it does add it in there. But you could pay 2, pay a second time to get 2, pay a third time to get 4, pay a 4th time to get 8. So that's kind of interesting as well. So that's the basis of the game there, is doing those 2 things. End your turn, expand the counter. If you have any new shops, you flip them up. Dragon and good limits, so you can have no more than 6 and 7 of each type. So you can only have 7 goods of each type, so you do want that. So giving them away is not a bad thing, or spending them, because you can't keep hoarding them over and over. And then refresh parking enchantments if there's anything missing. Expand the town is pretty simple. You flip over the new one, your hand limits, and then refreshing. And then ending the game. When the last card is drawn, either Artisan, Dragon, or Enchantment deck is drawn and revealed. This triggers the end of the game. Each player gets 1 final turn, including the player who triggered the end game. Once all players have had a final turn, getting end-game reputations while leftover coins. Each player returns all coins or supplies to the fountain, gains 1 reputation per coin. So spending coins instead of resources is, if you have to, it works. But at the end of the game, you're going to get extra reputation for having coins. You don't want to have to spend coins in place of resources. You'd rather have the resources to spend. And then Fantasy Dragons with a shadow or a moon icon will score at the end of the game. Now there's two different types of Fantasy Dragons here. Give you different abilities. So Sun Dragons can only be scored during the game if you have fulfilled their goal. And then Moon Dragons score at the end of the game. Then there's part of the guide, and I'm not going to spend too much time on this because we'll look at all the cards. This just goes through the abilities of all the dragons in detail, all the shops in detail. I love when guides instructions book do that, when they go through their cards and give you a little bit better clarification. Like, this says do this. Here's a more specific thing on it. Then there's an optional rule for companions. So you can set up this and you can give everyone extra companion card to play with. It's just a basically starting ability. Just kind of fun after you've played a bit. There's a solo mode, which I'm not going to get into too much right now. But it follows a 3-player game. But basically the point is you're trying to... you're still trying to score points, but you're just trying to score against yourself. And get the highest score possible. So at the end of the game, count up your final reputation as you would in a multiplayer game. Check your score against the table to see what reward you gained. But it's also neat is because this has achievements. So in order to unlock achievements, you must have a reputation of 75 or more. And then as you unlock these achievements, you gain extra abilities, either different cards that added in or different things to switch in and out. And you can only earn 1 or 2 each time you play. So you can play this multiple times to try and earn all the different achievements and change all this different stuff. So that is actually really fun. To give you, so it's not just, hey, play this mode, try and get a high score, see what you get. You actually have different goals to try and achieve, different things to try and do, so that's really fun. Alright, so that was the basis of the game. So let's look at our actual components, since we are fairly far into the game, or the video. Alright, so we're going to get this big plant. This thing is long. So be prepared for that. This is the mat. It is beautifully drawn. The artist on here, Deluxe's art was really cool. One thing just to point out, because it was brought up a lot during the Kickstarter, in our comment section, was that the art on here, like the actual size of the mat on here, is not the exact same in the book. Because if you're familiar with the way art and stuff is, they have a bleed area. Basically, that's you draw a picture bigger than, when you're ever getting something printed, you draw it bigger than what's actually going to be printed off, because you have to realize they have to cut stuff off at a border. So the picture in the actual book here is a little bit bigger, so like the towns go out a little bit farther on the edges. So I'm trying to see if I can compare one of these. Yeah, so like this house right here, you only get about half of it compared to that. So they just cut off the very border edges. Does not affect gameplay at all, but it's supposed to be like that. They, did. But yeah, here's this big giant board, shows you all that stuff, keep track of all your different things. Yes, this is definitely cool. I love this big giant map, but just keep in mind that this is a long thing. So wherever you're going to play this on your table, make sure you have enough room. So if you have like a little tiny coffee table, this might not work. Or if you have a circle table, this also might not work. Now, alternatively, if you didn't have this, you could, or if you don't have enough room, you could relay stuff out in different directions or different orders. That is fine as well. Now, inside the box here, again, I have a deluxe edition, so I'm not 100% sure how everything's going to look if you get the regular retail. But we have these nice little trays from Game Trays. right there, game trays. They make these little things. So I got these 3D little meeple versions of all my different resources. Diamond, bread, metal. I don't remember what the plant is called for whatever reason. I can't remember. Yeah, I'm not sure. Meat and then potions. I don't remember this. But I got 2 different sets of these, which is actually kind of nice because that way I can have one side, one the other. So I don't know if the regular game is going to still just have these trays, but I'm hoping they do. But they just then have like your circle tokens in there instead of the 3D ones. So that's definitely a cool thing there. And then we have a little tray that goes on top that kind of holds everything in. We have our big cards here for our towns, all that. Then we have all the little tokens and stuff. So again, I said I got metal tokens. Your regular tokens, you just sitting there. I got these big chunky metal tokens, which is a really cool upgrade. Now, some of this stuff might also be available in their like online web store. So if you decide you'd like to upgrade, they might have some of these available. But there's the coin. It has a dragon spiral head, and there's like the town. There's a gray one here, or a silver one. It actually shows that picture up a little bit better. There's the Flamekeeper, Flamecraft token. Yes, these are the gold coins. So you can see there's not a ton of them, because you're not going to be, again, like lots of these resources, you're not going to be hoarding them. Then we actually have little dragon miniatures, which are really fun. So there's one for each color. And the miniatures are... you can use those to keep track of moving your character around on the board. From shop to shop. So like when I'm going on the board, if I have to move from shop to shop, I can move my little miniature around. And then you can keep track of your reputation points on this track here with your meeple. I believe is what you're supposed to be doing. Actually, they show moving your meeple from thing to thing, and then I think the dragon tokens might actually just be upgrades as well. So I can use these instead of meeples. But that's definitely fun. We got one for each different color. The potion for purple. We got a light blue. Oh, we got a light blue one here. For our diamond. They fit in there very nicely. And then the green one. It's a leafy dragon. And then you look at all the little meeples, which will all look the exact same, just the different colors. And then underneath them are your heart trackers. So these will keep track of these are what you use for your reputation points, and those just kind of sit underneath there. And they'll all kind of hang out in that extra little space there. We also get a bag, so if you, I don't even know what the bag is for, to be honest. Might be for your goods shall be separated. I am not sure what the bag is for. It doesn't I don't ever remember reading anything about that. It might just be an extra bag they threw in there, because they don't list it on the book. So interesting. But we have that. We also have extra slots in here for more cards. So I like that, because it's either A, so you can separate your cards out more, or B, in case they ever add an expansion and they add more cards, you have more room for stuff. Alright, so I'm going to set this aside, and then we'll start looking at what all the different cards are of the game. Alright, so before we hop into all of the cards, I want to point out a few things. Like I said before, I have the Deluxe Edition. One, badges for your coins. Makes sense. So you're not just laying them all on the table. That way they're just... I've watched a bunch of videos quick, just trying to figure out what the difference between the Deluxe and Base Edition are, besides the extra components. So the 3D dragons are from the Deluxe Edition. So you won't get those, you'll just have the meeples, which work just fine. But you can always probably, again, you might be able to order them separately, as well as the 3D stuff. I could not, however, find a single video that actually showed, like, a full unboxing. Everyone showed the game being set up, how to play it, talked about it. So there was pictures of the little, of all your resources being little tokens instead of 3D objects, but nothing that showed how they came in the box, how they store in the box. I couldn't find anything of that, so I unfortunately don't have that information for you, so I don't know how it fits in the box, if they're just, you know, if they're just in like a little one tray and they're just sitting there and they're all mixed together or what. The other thing I want to bring up is sleeving your cards. So if you want to sleeve these big cards, you can get the, I unfortunately don't have any of these, so I can't do mine yet, but they're the 8XL cards, 90 by 144 millimeter. So 110 should be more than enough to cover all of these, but that will sleeve your big cards. Do you have to? Not necessarily, because they're just, I mean, you can, because you're going to maybe want to shuffle these, but for the most part, after you shuffle them out, they just stay laying down. I just like to sleeve everything I own, just because when I get people that come over to play, I don't have to worry about them getting fingerprints or if they have food on their hands or whatever. And it just, especially when I start getting Kickstarter stuff, I have exclusive cards that if something happened to that card, I can't just go back and rebuy a game at the store. The other size card are your dragons, which are going to be the little tinier ones. These, which I have sleeved, are they're called mini European size sleeves. So they are 44 by 68 millimeter. Now it's important to make sure if you're buying mini sleeves, you buy mini European, not mini American. Mini American are just slightly smaller. They're 44 by I think 66. 42 by 66, I think. I might not be right at, but they're a little bit smaller, so they won't work. But 50 sleeves might not be enough. You might need multiple, because there are 36, 36, 36. So yeah, you're going to need quite a few more. 3, 6, 9. So probably 3 packs to cover all of them, at least. Yeah, the big cards you should be fine. There's about 42 total. But yeah, there's 3, 6, 9, 112. So you need about 3 packs of these to cover all of your small cards. You might need a second pack of... 110 should be more than enough for this. Even if you have extra stuff. Alright, so now that I went through that, what's also nice is the sleeve cards fit in the box as well, at least the Deluxe Edition. Again, I can't speak to the regular base game. Alright, so we're going to look over our cards. So first what we're going to get are these just resource information. We're going to get one for each color. And that little symbol like metal, diamond. And I got an extra pink one here. And that's because they have another dragon you can actually get that was a second one. So that's just going to explain what you do on your turn. You have gather or enchant, what to do. Very, very helpful. Then on the back side, plant dragons, that's what they're called. It's going to show what your different dragon types are and what their different abilities and the symbols mean. So this is just a nice, helpful card to have. And I love that they give one to every player. So we have those guys right there. Then we have one for solo mode, just to remind you how to do solo mode. And then on the back are what your achievements are. This is also, I love that they did this, so you don't have to keep going back into the book to figure out what you want to do if you're playing solo mode. Boom, I know how to play it. I can just leave this down. I can see what I need to do. I don't need to keep jumping back in. And if you do put a sleeve on here, if you have enough sleeves, you could probably write on the sleeve with a dry erase marker and then erase it. I don't know how well these sleeves do for erasing with that, but that might be an idea. Then we have the starter towns. So the starter towns are going to look different. So they're going to first of all have a little trumpet with a flag, and they're going to be lighter in color. That just helps us so you can easily determine which ones are which. And then up on the name, they're also going to have it on the front side. So we have, and the names of these are really fun. The artwork is incredible. So I'm not going to fly through these too terribly fast, but I'm not going to read all the different abilities on the bottom. Just these will also have the starting location. So it shows your starting dragons. This is our meat shop, which is Draco Bell. This is clearly like Taco Bell. We have our plants. We have portable potions. We have Hello Nursery. Oh, sorry, that was our potions. This should be our plants. I'm dumb. I can't even read colors. We have our iron. We have the Smith Mart. Then we have Fragile Reptile for our diamonds. And we have Critical Rolls, which is, Critical Roll being rolling like a D20, rolling a good thing, and it's also rolls as in bread. So one thing you will notice on all these cards, though, is you're going to collect your one symbol at the top. Your third dragon is always going to be, to get the artisanal one, the fancy dragon is always going to be for whatever the shop is. But it's always for a different shop. So, bread, you need meat, but you're always going to need one of those. And then the other ones are all going to be the same. It's going to be one of the shop it is, plus one that matches the other one, kind of a complementary shop to it. Like bread and meats go together, plants and diamonds, I guess, potions and metal, bread and plants. And then you'll get a coin for each one of those. So they kind of stay the same for each of the starters. Then we're going to have all of the rest of the town. We have Drake of Cakes. So I'm guessing this would be like Ace of Cakes. So these are all going to have a lot of different ones. So they're going to have a lot, they're going to be the same. Where we're going to get, you can play anything on here to get 2 reputation. Then different things. So they're going to have lots of the same thing. Here you get 3 there. So we have Fogo de Char. Funky Brewsters. So like a coffee shop. Like the potions are also represented as coffee. Oh My Gourd. Gnome Depot. It's like pay 1 of any good type to gain 8 things. Again, I'm not going to read all of this. Of course, this is Home Depot. Tip the Scales. Jewelry shop. And then we're going to start back with bread, where we're going to have some different stacks. Now I think from this on, they might get a little bit different. I'm not sure. Or if they all just kind of end up repeating the same type of things. We have La Petite Dragon. Using as a flamethrower. Full Plate Buffet. So these are kind of ones that are like, have lots more different dragons on, which is kind of fun. We have Spellfire Springs. Hedges and Henges. Saving Throw. Dragon Horde Bank. Guilty Treasures. It's a candy shop. Pizza Coven versus Pizza Hut. Love the little logo there. Draconic Tonic. Sage of Sage. The Savage Beak. Touch of Glass, Dragon Tail Roost. So now, so far, all of these have all had the icon up in the top corner for the specific class. Now, these ones here that I started, I did Dragon Tail Roost. They have a dragon up on the top, so you get a dragon for playing these, and then they kind of have, like, you can place anything there, so they're kind of like catch-all ones. We have So Cute. We have Dragon Alley, which lets you get coins instead. And then down here we'll show you your costs are a little bit. So there's an error there. They forgot to put the little, like, borders around them like they did all the rest of them for their cards. But, you know, it's not that big of a deal. Maws and Paws. Wishing Well, gets you a lot of coins. Bazaar, gets you any resources. Flagging Dragons. Scale Mail Post. The Eternal Flame, and Nunya Beeswax. Yeah, so lots of fun little names. Again, the art on here is incredible. They could have easily just done, like, really quick, simple pictures, and, you know, I don't think anyone would have complained too much, but they didn't. Alright, so now we're going to get our dragons. Our artisan dragons, and again, they're going to have the different backs for starters versus non-starters, as well as they're going to have the little symbol in the front. So all the starter ones. So now when you go through even the starters versus the regular non-starter ones, they're all going to have the same ability. But we'll have our bread dragon. We have Pan. We have Hickory, our meat dragon. Twig for plant. So I can read what these do since they're all the same. So bread will let you draw, when you fire them up, they'll let you draw another dragon. The meat will let you place a dragon into town. The plant will gift a good to another player to gain 2 representation. Your potion is cannon. Swap a dragon in town and fire it up. Bright Gem, gain 3 different goods. Wing Nut for metal, gain 2 of 1 good from the shop or a dragon here. And then we're going to go through all of our regular ones. So we have Suzette for our bread, Loaf, Cinnabon, Fondue, Cookie, and Honey. Our meat dragons are Hot Dog, Flambe, Cutlet, Potato, Stewart, and Brisket. Our plants are Blossom, Lotus, Olive, Herb. I don't know if it should be Herb or Herb, because it's the name. We have Dandelion and Mulch. Our potions are Earl, Thistle, Jasmine, Lavender, Elderberry, and Venti. Our diamonds are Opal Wing, Frostfire, Moonbeam, Jewel Heart, Silver Scale, Deathbane. And our metal or iron are Shale, Rusty, Coal, Patina, Flint, and Roxanne. Again, artwork on this is amazing. I can't specify enough. So again, they could have just had one dragon for each thing, just giving a different name, so you had different ones. They could have just called them Iron Dragons, because they're all the same thing. But to give everyone a little bit different name, they also represent, like, metal as, like, Flint and Patina, Rusty, Coal, like, even though it's a different type of coal. Like, the names that really fit the themes, like Venti because it's a coffee, or Jasmine and Lavender because they're that kind of purpley color. Yeah, they did a really good job on that. Then we have our fancy dragons, which all have these. So these guys do share a lot of artwork. But you're having your day or night symbol up there. And then this one is matches. which has plus 1 reputation for each starter shop with a matching dragon icon. And then we have Shimmer, who's just like the opposite. Now, it's different colors, but still, it's pretty neat. Like, again, they didn't have to even do that much. They could have just had the same one. But yeah, they did a lot of dual colors that they kind of work together. So we have Sparkle. I'm not going to read through all the abilities on these. We have Twinkle, Dazzle, and Frazzle. Chonkers and Boo Boo. Rainbow and Talisman. Steven and Todd. Sweetie. Umami. Then we get the same ones, different colors. We have Jitters, Savannah, Gemma, and Shadow. So all the same ones with just different slightly different abilities for each different thing. Then we have kind of same one here. We have Toasty, so they get 2 representation if you have 3 or more of this the same thing at the end of the game. Karine. It's neat. Even their balloons each have different things, or each holding different potions. So again, even though it's the same dragon artwork, they changed up some of this stuff. Elix, Forest, Zircone, and Ajax. Then we have some different ones here. So these ones, the rest of these don't all match together. So there will, some of them do, some don't. But we have Buttercup. We have Pinky Toe. Nightbright. Greenhorn. Sunlight. Wesley. Hocus. And Pocus. One's a cat, one's a dog. Starburst, Gold Rush, Taylor, and Buddy. Yeah, so even like the one, like even the ones that are just opposite lots or some of the same overall dragon artwork, they at least did something a little bit different with each one, which is really fun. Then our last thing are our enhancements. So we have purple. Sorry, actually we have 2 last things. We have purple. We have gold, and then we'll have our companions at the end. So let's go through the purple ones first. We're going to, and there's not going to be a lot of stuff on here. So we have Joe Forgeman, which I think is supposed to be like George Foreman, like the grill. Joe Forgeman. Spellcast Iron. So basically, you pay 2 meat, 3 potions, and you get 4 reputations and a dragon. So there's some different ones. You have Smelting Pot, Mirror of Truth, Heart of Flame, Ring of Destiny, Will-O-Wisp, Orcish Orchids, and Wraith Rose. Hobachino, Elfspresso, and Dwarven Sprout. Empanadas, Fairy Jubilee, and Creme Brulee. So you can look at these as being things, new things that this shop carries, is ideal of what this is supposed to be. Smoked Corgon, Displacer Beef, and Le Fromage. So those are your kind of basic ones. Now there's only 3 of each, so you can only have 3 total. So now there's not enough that like you're going to have 3 enhancements on every single shop. So, like, one might get 3, but that means another one might not have any. Then our gold ones, which are going to just have a little bit more extra cost, so definitely can't play gold. We have Samoflange, Werewares, Internal Friar, Shard of Thurna, Eye of Beholder, Saber of Light, Snapdragons, Hydroponics, Thaco Salad, Rune Shrine, Owl Beer, Mertini, Minotarts, Sakamurazu, Unicorn Flakes, Fifo, Kraken Kasu, and Filet Mignon. Filet Mignon. Sorry, Filet Mignon instead of Mignon. I wonder if you could combine both of these together and just randomly draw them, or have both in the same game. So you have a lot more options. Maybe if you're playing with more, maybe play with 6 players maybe. Then we have companions. So these guys can start your game, give you extra bonuses. We have Daniel. So when you do the star, which is, why do I not remember? Enchant. So when you do an enchantment, you may fire apart dragons instead of the shop. Manny says when you flame up a fire dragon, you may flame up the placed dragon in the. You may flame up the placed dragon in that and others in that shop. Give you some different things. We have Peter. When you reveal new shops, you may go to the new one and take a new turn. Eric, after using a shop ability, you may use it a second time. Brad, when you enchant, you may pay iron in place of any goods. Start, you get 1 reserve enchantment. Rich, for each money in your supply, gain 2 goods, max of 18. Start, you gain a coin. And Sandra, score a fancy dragon that's face up in front of you or any other player. Start, instead pick 2. Instead of picking 2, draw 5 and pick 1 to get a better option. So those are your different ones there. So that is everything that came in the base game. Yeah, so we put them back in the box. Everything fits, at least in this one, fits really nice. Now, once you sleeve these, though, realize that there's a little bit of room there, a little bit of room there. They might not fit as well if you have if like another expansion comes out, because every sleeve does have a little bit of thickness. So then we're going to jump in and we're going to look at some of the Kickstarter / extra things you might be able to buy. Alright, so for this portion, I'm going to look over some of the Kickstarter, like, bonuses I got, or things that you might be able to do. So first we'll look at the game-focused stuff, then we'll look at, like, extra non-game stuff. So again, I don't know if any of this stuff will or will not be available in their shop. I know there's some Kickstarter exclusive cards. They might show up in other places. So the first thing we do is we have 6 optional starter cards. So we have Redtail Wharf. So it's still going to have our starter, but it has a little bit different symbol. It has 2 dots on it instead of 1. Into the difference there. Just so you can tell which ones are which very easily, which ones are which. They're going to have abilities on there. The original ones don't have any of them. As well as they're going to give you your fancy dragon here, and then give you a coin on that side instead. So this is basically saying you can pay gain 1 heart by paying for 2 meat. Am I not reading this right? Gain 1 right here. So gain 1 reputation or lose 1 to gain 2 goods of the indicated thing. So either I can gain, by using this ability, I can either gain a heart. So this is kind of neat. So if after you've played a few games, you're like, okay, I don't want to start off slow. This gets you starting the game a little bit quicker because it lets you gain reputation right away or spend it to gain extra resources. You can gain extra coin, fancy dragons, and you're just skipping some of the smaller stuff. We have hidden reserves. Let me get this. Sorry, let me see if I can get that to focus a little bit better. All right. Water Lily Way. Skyrise District, Lighthouse Point, and Grand Entrance. Yeah, so it's definitely a fun thing. Yeah, I hope that they will make this available for other people. Because, yeah, having a little option to maybe start off a little bit quicker is definitely fun. Then, the next thing we're going to get, I know there's 2 Kickstarter ones. One is the Spice Tower, which is based off of the Dice Tower, which is a very popular board game website. They do lots of reviews and stuff. This might eventually be available through Board Game Geek, which is their like store. Because lots of times there are promos with their images or stuff on there. This is a representation of Tom Vassell, who runs that site. But yeah, that's actually kind of fun. Different spices and stuff. And then the other one we have has Kickstarter up in the top corner. It says Flame Starter statues instead of Kickstarter. It's Flame Starter. If this shop is full of dragons, take all 3 dragons here in hand. So it's kind of crazy. You can like re-up and restart it over. That's worth a lot of reputation points. Ugh, I don't know why that word is being such a pain to me. Then the next gameplay thing we have the Fancy Dragon miniature. So we can get a Fancy Dragon. So this is just to represent another player you can play as. It's just a pink dragon. So it's going to come with the pink dragon miniature, the meeple, and the heart. So now, effectively, you could say this could add a 7th player to the game, because you'd have the extra components, or someone can just swap to one of the other colors. Now, there's no other meeple or resource that represents this. It just adds an additional token or a different colored figure, which is really fun. What's also cool is because, if I move all this stuff back out of the way, and we grab our box, this will actually fit in the box. So the dragon can go down there. If I move my cards, I can drop. Oh, if it would fit in there. So in the bottom of this tray here, I'm knocking everything out. There's a little spot down there for all the hearts. And all the dragon meeples will just sit right in there. And I can actually just add that one in there. So that's definitely an awesome thing. And then also adding them extra cards in there basically makes that flat. So I'm hoping, I don't think that the thickness should be too much of an issue in there. Even if it is though, we get this extra little cover that you can put on top of these, which will kind of help hold all that stuff in place. Especially your cards on this side. We have a spot for the mat. So that's the only part right there. Is this little guy's not going to have a little cover spot. But hopefully that won't be an issue and it won't fly out everywhere. But that is that. So that's all our gameplay stuff. Then we're going to look at some non-gameplay things quick. So that's basically the end of the video for gameplay. If you don't care about anything else, you can go ahead and end the video. If they do more content, I'll definitely add expansions and all that. I'll definitely show you guys more of it. If you have questions, let me know. I'll try and answer them. Otherwise, we're going to hop into other stuff. So the first thing we have here is I have a set of art prints, which are really fun. So they're 1 of 15. So again, this art is beautiful. These are just kind of like little extra cards if you just wanted some of the different locations without all the extra text and everything on them. So it's not going to be for every single one, just for 15 of them. But it is definitely cool, little bonus if you really enjoyed this artwork. That's actually the neat one there. I have not looked at it, but that one's not available anywhere else. But it shows all the different dragons. So that is fun. Another thing we are going to get, or I got, was bookmarks for all the different dragons. So they're double-sided. So if you want some different dragon bookmarks, those are really fun. I think my wife is probably going to use this one if she has any books she's currently reading anything, because it's the Coffee Dragon. We do get an enamel pin with one of the Fancy Dragons, which is really cool. Pin collectors love this type of stuff. Then there's Art of Sandra, so if anyone's interested in more of her artwork, definitely check her out. Cardboard Alchemy made the game, check out their stuff. More fun things is we have sticker sheets. And I didn't open this up, so I'm not sure if there's another page in there or not. I think it's just the two sides. But yeah, that's definitely cool. If you ever want to add some extra little honeycomb one, that's definitely cool. Then the last thing is I only got one of these guys. Or one of the two. They have the bread dragon, little plushie, but they also made a meat dragon, which is the red one. I did not buy him. I only bought this one because I got him with the campaign. He's actually very squishy. Not as big as I thought he was gonna be. But I'm not gonna complain. He's definitely cute. Maybe a fun little mascot when I'm playing the game. Assuming I get to keep him anywhere near my board game. Alright, so that's what we have for Flamecraft. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Yeah, if they add more, definitely I'll show you more. I wish I had more information on the non version. Maybe at some point, if I can find it on sale during the holiday, I'll pick it up and try and do a comparison video just to see what the differences are for the components. Until then, see you guys later. Bye.